Rise and shine, it's morning time for me. How does one ban a book from everywhere? Well, it's kind of difficult to ban books in the United States of America, and it's easier in other countries like in China where there's an authoritarian power that can basically make decisions for everyone. This camera set is horrible. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Because then you can't see my double chin as well. But it's still possible to ban books in the United States. For example, there are books where if you look them up, you will be on the FBI's watch list. There are books from the 70s, like the Anarchist's Handbook, with a bunch of stuff in it about how to build bombs, how to build homemade guns. If you look that up, if you even look up the title, you don't even need to click a link. Look up the title, you'll be on the FBI's watch list. I guarantee it. You know how I know? Because I tried it. Anyways, specifically, recently we've been seeing this movement in the United States that has been extremely anti-Christian. And this is mainly in the left, in the youth, especially among girls. And especially on the west coast of the United States. And if you haven't seen events recently, they have a lot of power at this point. Enough power to get the National Guard called on them. So, it's reasonable to suspect that in the near future, they will have a lot more power and will have the ability to wreak havoc on the Christian community. Now, I'm not saying they're going to. So if you're one of those kinds of people and you say, oh, I would not do that, well, of course, you're not going to be the ones doing it. You're just a step on the way to that. Think China or Russia. Soviet Union specifically. Okay, Russia is an Orthodox country, okay? The Bible is not banned there. Literally everyone there is Christian. You can't ban it there, no matter how hard you try. The Soviets tried very hard to ban it. They never was able to, because no matter what they could do, the vast majority of population were Orthodox Christians, so they could not control them. China, however, was different. And if you look at how Christianity is falling in the United States, it could be possible that the United States could follow the path of China. That is, a leftist political party gains control, a lot of control, over China or the United States, and eventually they're basically the vast majority. You know, I think you know where I'm going, right? So let's discuss the multiple different ways we can ban the Bible. Why should you watch this video? Because either you can watch this video so that you can start shouting at me for playing the victim because you're an atheist. Or you can watch this video to make yourself feel better about being Christian so that you can feel like you're oppressed when you're in a country where you're not oppressed. Come on, look, if you want to be oppressed, move to Syria, okay? If you want to be oppressed for your religion, move to somewhere where you're oppressed for your religion, okay? Just because someone doesn't want your favorite book in the school library doesn't mean you're being oppressed, okay? Okay? It should be as simple as that. Anyways, so, first method of banning the Bible. Young people. Young people are scary, as you can see in the screen, because I am a young person. And if you're over the age of 40 and looking at what young people are doing to this world, you're very much scared of young people. Okay, Donald Trump is scared of young people. That's why he called the military on them. Oh, the National Guard, but still. You know what I mean. Okay? The National... Oh, what? No, I'm not talking about the National Guard right now. Oh, gosh. This is why you need a script, kids. This is why you need a script. I don't have a script. I'm yapping. I'm pulling out all this out of the back of my mind. It's already been 5 minutes and I haven't even gotten to the point. It's most of my videos, by the way. Most of my videos are like that. Okay, so obviously, the youth of today are not gonna ban the Bible. Okay? They're not. Sure, they may hate Christians, they may hate the Bible, they hate everything that has to do with it, but they aren't at that level to contradict themselves. And yeah, people always say, oh, what about Islam? How about you talk about Islam? Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, that doesn't count. So they're not gonna be able to ban the Bible. But remember, as time goes on, the left becomes the right, and a new left comes in. Okay? So right now, the policies that the left wants are going to be right wing in the near future. You can see this in the opposite effect about how the Republican Party is constantly adopting principles that the Democratic Party had in the past, but had since abandoned. So over time, you could expect that with how the trend's going, there's going to be less and less Christians in the United States. Okay? And then, because of that, they're going to have less voting power. Eventually, there might be a political party that has the ability to ban the Bible. Here's how. You know the First Amendment? The First Amendment stops the government from being able to do that, but there is possibly a few loopholes. One of them is hate speech. If you're able to get the Bible listed as hate speech, you have significant leverage over how that hate speech is passed on around in society. So just like how on social media, if you say, let's say, the N-word, most of the time you will be taken down. Your post will be taken down. There are some exceptions, but most of the time the post will be taken down. Something similar can happen with the Bible. If you're able to get the Bible to become hate speech, then you'd be able to control how it moves around. That is step one. Step two is restricting the printing of it. Now here's the interesting thing. Mein Kampf, written by Uncle Adolf. It is not illegal to print it in the United States. It is not illegal to read it in the United States. It's not illegal to buy it in the United States. Because this is, right now, a free country. You kind of can't stop people from buying books. But things can possibly change in the future. Another trend that you often see nowadays is the right complaining something about the left, complaining about something from the left denies it, and then 5 minutes later they flip the logic and use the exact same logic the right used against them to attack the right. And usually they're more successful that way. So right now you're seeing the right complain to the left about how they have indoctrination, woke, whatever they call it, books in the school library. The left could, in the future, reverse that and use that, and they've already started doing it. They've already started banning Bibles from school libraries. Interesting thing to note, and that I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, is that they do not put that much attention into the Quran. In fact, they encourage it. I've seen a couple schools on their websites, on their school calendars, they do not celebrate Easter, but they do celebrate. Well, they do celebrate Easter, but it's they call it a no school day. But they do have Ramadan. Only in California. only in the cities of California, because I'm in Lancaster right now. If we go a little bit farther east of here, it gets really Texas-y. You know what I mean? So eventually through all this, the Bible could be banned. Second option, the even worse option, China. Very literal China. World War III is probably going to happen at this point. Looking at the world right now, I mean, India and Pakistan, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. And if you're gonna get mad at me for mentioning Israel in the name Israel-Palestine conflict, what am I supposed to call it? Colonialism Palestine conflict? What? Okay, I'm just gonna call it Israel-Palestine conflict, okay? Stop getting mad at me for saying the word. Because even if you don't believe that Israel is a real country, it was in the past. I'm sure you'd believe that. If you don't, then you need to check over here. Anyways, so as you probably know, the Bible is not technically banned in China. It's just heavily restricted in China. There's a government authorized version where they basically remove all the parts they don't like. And there's a growing movement in the West that says, no, they're not doing that. Look, man, I'm Chinese. I should know this. Okay? Oh, by the way, everyone who tells you that China's not doing it are all white people who have never been to China. Just letting you know. Let alone spoken to a Chinese person. Just saying. If World War III breaks out, and America loses so badly that America becomes a province of China. That's where I'm getting at, okay? If America loses World War III so badly that we become a province of China, which is possible. I mean, look at the state of the United States military today. It's just not good. Not good at all. Looking at the track record for wars we won. Last time we won a war, I mean, you could say that we won the Gulf War, but it's a meaningless victory. We didn't really get anything out of it. We just lost billions of dollars. That's it. And it was way too expensive for a war that small. Last time we really won a war outright was World War II. World War II. I don't think we're... Look, I love America. I love my country. But I don't think we're going to... I don't think it's possible that we're going to win against China, okay? Because while China's military also sucks a lot, they've got more soldiers. They can mass produce a lot more things than us. So, yeah, we're probably going to lose. But if we lose badly enough and become part of China, Chinese laws will be enacted on the United States. And so like the KJV will be... It's either going to be the KJV or the NIV translation of the Bible. That's going to be edited by the Chinese government for English consumption. They're basically going to be English versions of the government-authorized ones in China. While this is not technically banning the Bible, you're restricting it a lot, so I guess it counts. So what might be done about that? If China does that, or if we do that to ourselves, what's going to happen? First of all, there's going to be protests. Obviously, there's a fair percentage of people in the United States who are Christian. There are going to be protests, and depending on how bad the government is, many protesters might get shot and killed. Depending on how bad the government is. Oh wow, this is ending on a very positive note, ain't it? Oh yeah, the drug trade. Uh, I think it was either Joseph Stalin or Vladimir Lenin who said religion is opium for the masses. Speaking of that quote, uh, religious stuff might become like a drug trade in some sort. Okay, I'm sure you've seen those cringe Instagram reels where like the Christian dude gives you a Bible and then says the debt's already been paid. Look, if you make anything illegal, there's going to be an illicit trade of it. This is not some holy effort. That's just going to happen. Okay? If you make we made alcohol illegal. There was an illegal trade for that. We made drugs illegal. Right now, there is a very big illegal trade for of illegal drugs. Okay? You make any book illegal, there's going to be people selling that illegally. That should be simple. So in case you start thinking, if you're Christian, that this is that if the Bible gets banned, there's gonna be some heroes trying to do this. Yeah, they're brave. Okay? Yeah, they're faithful. But I mean, what else do you expect? Also, it's probably going to be selling Protestant Bibles and not Orthodox or Catholic Bibles, like real Bibles. So, is the Bible going to get banned? No. Stop fantasizing about that. I'm a Christian, but I don't fantasize about the Bible getting banned. Because that's a sad thing to fantasize about. And it's not going to happen. It might... For some people, it might feel good to them. Okay? To have, like, a scenario in their head where they're oppressed. You want to be oppressed, move to another country. Like Britain. Yeah, Britain. Okay, Britain's actually genuinely scary. Okay, when I was in Britain, well, not Britain, Scotland. I used to go to a Protestant church there. They would have police officers there, not to make sure that they're safe, but to make sure that they will not. They're just there to keep them in check. Scary stuff there. Also, you could also move to Syria. They replaced one horrific regime with a slightly less horrific regime. And, yeah, great, all these people got released from prison. Great, amazing. Stop chopping off the heads of Syrian Orthodox Christians. Okay? You're replacing... Don't, okay? Don't. Okay, if you stop chopping off the heads of the majority, then you better stop chopping off the heads of the minority. You could also move to China. Pretty darn hard there. Especially if you're Orthodox. The Orthodox Church is not recognized by China. Because they have official churches in China. Oh, did you hear? When Pope Francis was not here, the Chinese government appointed a bishop. When there's no pope. So. Okay, if you want to feel oppressed, move to North Korea. Okay, if you want to be a missionary, move to North Korea. That's a place where they need help. Okay? Don't go protesting outside of schools. So what? They teach weird stuff. So what? What do you expect? America's a declining nation. People are gonna go crazy anyways. Just study some history. Stuff's gonna happen. People suck. In the meantime, just, I don't know. Don't use crack. Vote. Read books. Stop scrolling on Instagram for 5 hours a day. I don't know. Do something more productive than fantasizing about Christianity becoming illegal.